Hello everyone, welcome to the Language Lounge. In this episode, we're gonna take a trip down memory lane and look at the origin of some words, as in their etymology. Alright, first up we have the word clue. Now a clue is something that indicates something else, as in there is smoke behind a wall that gives you a clue that there is fire behind that wall. Now clue used to refer to a ball of yarn, which you might see your grandma, knitting something and she's got a ball of yarn right there. Also, remember the story of Theseus and the Minotaur? In that story, Theseus uses a ball of yarn and kind of follows it along and finds his way out of the labyrinth. Next up, we got the word quarantine. Quarantine, you might be familiar with it. Now, the original word comes from Italian, which is I forgot the original word. How do you spell the Italian one? Quaranta. Now the word comes from the Italian word quaranta, which is from the 14th century practice where ships would dock and stay at the docks for 40 days before their crew members or sailors were allowed on land, so that diseases from other countries would not spread. That's where quarantine comes from. And quaranta, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, means 40, referring to the 40 days that they had to quarantine for. Alright, now we got the word nightmare. Now mare in Old English referred to an evil spirit, sometimes like an evil woman's spirit, like an incubus. And a nightmare was a famous form of that spirit that would show up at night and try to choke you in your sleep. Think about like the sleep paralysis demon. It's a tale from the Old English culture, and yeah, that's where nightmare comes from. Next up, we got the word mortgage. Mortgage is when you put your house against a certain loan and receive that loan and have to pay it back over time. Your house is basically the collateral of that loan. Mort, that mort part comes from the French language, which means death, and gage, which means pledge. So it's kind of like a death pledge. You took a loan against this house and now you gotta pay it until you die. Kind of grim when you think about it, isn't it? Next up, we got the word eavesdrop. To eavesdrop is to listen in on another conversation without the other people knowing. It comes from the mixture of the Old English word efes, which meant edge of a roof, and dropon, which meant to fall in drops, and the eaves, which are the part of the roof that kind of goes over the wall. That's this sort of area where people would kind of hang on those parts and they would eavesdrop on conversations that were happening in flats under them. Kind of an interesting origin, isn't it? Eavesdrop. Now, next up, we got the word hysteria. Hysteria is a mass state of confusion and chaos. Mass hysteria, sometimes they call it. It comes from the Greek word hystera, which meant uterus, and in the past it was believed to be a certain problem that only women faced due to their, biology, old scientists and their sexism. But yes, here we are today, and hysteria just means anyone that's in a state of confusion and chaos, regardless of their gender. Forget those guys. Alright, next up we got the word robots. We hear that word a lot these days, AI and all this stuff that are happening. It comes from a 1920 play by Karel Čapek, I probably butchered that and you'll tell me in the comments, called Rossum's Universal Robots. In it, there are robots, artificial beings that is, created to perform manual labor. That's where the current day robot comes from. Next up, we got the word salary, that thing that you wait until the end of the month for. It's a really nice thing, right? It comes from the Roman times where Roman soldiers were given a salarium. Now the salarium was a certain sort of stipend, let's say, to purchase salt, which was a valuable commodity at the time. Now from that salarium comes today's salary, your monthly wage basically. Alright, saving the best for last, we got the word pandemonium from the 1667 epic poem by John Milton. Now, in this poem, pandemonium refers to the capital of hell, where all the demons reside. Pan is the Greek word for all, and daemon is the Greek word for demon, so it's like all demons, they're all here. These days, it's used to refer to a situation where everything is going wrong, complete chaos. Maybe today in the Metrobus, you had a pretty rough time. You can say, man, it was pandemonium in the Metrobus today. Everyone's going crazy, there's a baby crying, there's a dude on his cell phone, some guy's bumping into you. We love Istanbul, don't we? Alright guys, thanks for watching. Those were some interesting words in our etymology. Follow us for more episodes of the Language Lounge, where we talk about the interesting origins of words, the fun you can have with language, and all sorts of stuff like that. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, let me know in the comments how do you pronounce Čapek. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in another video. Peace.